So now we're going to talk about that probing. I said that when I get done with welding, I put my initials on it, and then after it cools, I come back and probe it and check it to make sure that everything's okay. Well, one of the things about a good weld, and as I was telling the guys here, that I'm a better right-handed roller, left-handed heat gun holder, and I did that backwards, so my weld is not great looking. But one of the things that we want to look at is the amount of gloss. And if you can see that gloss in that part of the seam there, it's about a 1/2 inch wide. You want that to be consistent 1/2 inch or so throughout your weld. You don't want to see a big area of gloss and no gloss, because that just means that you're not getting the heat right to the outside edge. So a consistent gloss is 100% one of the first things that you should look at when you're welding. Do I have a consistent gloss? I don't on this weld, and so I'm gonna go ahead and probe this, and I'm gonna pick on the weakest spot that I can find based on the lack of gloss. So we have a actual made for probe. It was made for probing. It's got a threaded thing in the end, and you certainly want to have a stick on every single job, because you want to be able to quickly probe seams. And you put the stick on there and you can stand up and walk and probe this seam quickly, just to check to make sure that you don't have any leakers. So you don't want to leave a big gap 3 or 4 inches when it's going to rain that night. So you can quickly probe seams with a stand-up extension pole, and you just basically apply some pressure and go through that. So now let's just take a look at what I just did here. So I'm taking this pointy end of the prober and I'm sticking it at a 45-degree angle down at that seam. And, you know, so right off the bat, I started getting something, but, you know, the started part is the part where, you know, there's nothing to hold the air in, so it doesn't get as much air, and so you're not going to get a good weld there, most likely, almost ever, unless you really just wait and apply some heat. So the other thing about probing is that you actually have to do physical damage to the sheet some of the time in order to make sure that you're probing hard enough. If I probe all one, you know, if I weld 300 feet of seams and I go back and probe my work, I better plan on damaging the sheet myself maybe 3 times or 4 times in that 300 feet, where I have to actually patch it when there was no defect. Because if I'm going to probe with these 2 fingers right here so I don't damage the sheet, I'm never going to find out where my deficient welds are. But if I probe aggressively, which I put that at that angle, and I actually apply some pressure, I found a little spot that hung a little bit right there, so I'm going to dig in that thing a little bit, and so you can sort of see where if you start pushing into that sheet, and if it was really welded, you're going to damage it, you know, because you're just going to get in a little bit and say, well, it really wasn't a weld, but I just messed it up. But this was a spot where I did a stop, and you can see that based on this line right there. So if you can get a closer up of that, this line that's right there in the membrane, that's where I was welding, and I stopped at this point. And my deficiency was I didn't wait for the heat long enough before I got started again. So there's a small void there. Okay, so I'm going to keep on going, and so I have 1 spot to repair in my weld. That is a very difficult thing to repair. And it's like, how am I going to repair that little spot with this big gun? It's really super hard. Because what I got to do is I have to apply extra heat there and extra heat there, because those are the points that it'll take the longest to heat. And so if I can't get this gun in there, and I can't get it in there well enough to apply that extra heat there. And so if I just did this, I'm just going to apply some heat on this thing, you know, hopefully the heat's getting inside of it, but 100% it's not penetrating it, right? Because I don't have the gun inside there. So I have to take some time, well, heat that up, and then I can roll it down. But there's an extreme high likelihood that I have a void on that line and on that line. And so the thing that you almost need to do on welds like that, or repairs like that, is one, you have to have a pencil tip so that you can actually get your air nozzle inside that little void and be able to heat going that way, and then turn that nozzle to point it back this way, turn it back this way, turn it back that way, and then pull out and then roll it down with a pencil tip.
So heat it up, pull it out, and then push the nozzle in further.
No, you just keep your nozzle, just like this pencil is my nozzle, it's a pencil tip.
Yeah.
And I stick it inside there, and I'm pointing it at that connection spot. Then I rotate around and I point it at this connection spot. And I rotate around and point it at this connection spot, so I can heat those lines up. And then once I get that, go back and forth a couple times, then you can heat this middle area and then come out and roll it down. But again, it's extremely difficult to do that, and there's a high chance that you're going to have a void in those two spots. So what do on a spot like this?
Patch it.
There's a chance that the best thing to do is, well,
run a patch over it.
I'm going to, put a patch on it. And so do I want to patch that with field membrane?
No.
So this is field membrane. If I put a patch on that, then what do I got? I got a T-joint and a T-joint. So now I got to put two T-joint patches on it. So if I'm going to patch this, I want to patch it with unsupported membrane. And so then, but you can't, if this has a hole in it, this sheet, so it has a hole in it, right? I can't patch that with unsupported membrane because it's unsupported membrane. It's an inferior sheet to the supported membrane sheet. So I can't patch this hole with an inferior product. It's got to be a supported membrane. And so, but I can patch T-joints. So if this is a target patch or a seam crossing it, that's fine, but you have to put a T-joint patch on that. And that rule for Versico applies to 60 mil membrane, not 45 mil. So if this is 45 mil membrane, you can put that on there and not have to put a T-joint on there. But again, at Frontier Roofing Systems, we are just going to patch every T-joint, whether it's 45 or 60 mil. And in fact, we've only put on one 45 mil roof because it's not a very costly upgrade, and it's a way better sheet just because it's thicker. So that's that. We're going to show you how to do a test cut in that area to show you if you truly have a good weld. And the whole thing about test cuts is that you only want them to be about 1 inch wide max. So this is something that you wouldn't want to be doing on a regular basis to your complete roof, but the manufacturer actually does want you to do it. The manufacturer actually wants you to take some test cuts, like in your walking welder and stuff like that, and potentially some hand welding. And so that first initial pullback, Wrigley, calm down, buddy. So there's that. You can see that's sort of welded there. It's coming up a little bit. That is not a weld. And that was done, that was taken in the part of the weld that actually had a little bit of bleed out. And again, this is why you do your test welds before you get on the roof. Now I go to this bad spot that didn't have very much. And the other thing too is the reason why you want to keep your test cuts to 1 inch wide If I try to take this thing right here and try to pull it apart, you won't be able to do it. I can't do it because it's too big. But I can do a test pull on that. And it comes apart. I did probe that. You saw me probe it. And the probe didn't go into it. So we'll do one more test cut. And this is in an area light glossing, not welding. So I go back to the area that had the most bleed out right in here. We'll do another one right up here. Still not welded. So the thing that I say, TP is not easy to weld. And you don't want to get out there and weld a whole bunch of stuff out on the roof. I probed it. I found one void. I heated that void down, but my seam was not functioning. So we will record another video with a good seam.